My guy, what's good, everyone? Welcome to the Devo and Kris Joe Show.
Mon
We back at
frère.
it. You already know we back at it. 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Wednesdays, baby. We appreciate y'all tuning in with us, man. We got a great show today, Kris. We got a good guest coming on, assistant coach Syracuse, Alan Griffin's coming on to chop it up with us a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the Georgetown game. I think that was the best game overall of the year for Syracuse, offensively and defensively. We saw JJ get out of his slump and really have a good game. And, we'll talk about that dynamic duo of Judah and JJ. And if they can be consistently that good for the rest of the year, I think they're going to be able to compete with anyone. So I guess, Joe, let's start right there with the Georgetown game. And just kind of let me know what you saw offensively and defensively, and how do you think they can continue to have that going forward the rest of the season?
Well, shit, first and foremost, shout out to JJ. Like you said, getting out of his slump, 21 points. He played, I think he led us in minutes. It's good. It was good to see, you know what I'm saying? Just to see what it could be like, give us a glimpse into the future of what it could be like if both JJ and Judah, play at that level. It makes things a lot easier for everybody else. We didn't have such a great game from Bell or from Taylor, but with those two guys leading the charge, we'll be in great shape because we know that Chris Bell is going to come in and have good games as the season comes along. But if we could have those two guys be consistent in what they do, making shots, going downhill, Judah getting to the free throw line, going 13 for 15, that's what we need right there. And like you said, shout out to Quadir as well. We'll get to that, I'm sure. But defensively as well, we were just defensively sound. I think those attention to details that we need, both offensive and defensively, were keyed in on. And, I would like to believe, or I feel like I know that that's due to the magnitude of the game. You know what I'm saying? I think them guys woke up for that Georgetown game. For those who don't know about the history, I'm sure they were told it's a long standing history between Syracuse and Georgetown basketball. And I think you could just tell that they were locked in, dialed in on both sides of the ball, and the results showed. You know what I mean? So I was really happy with that performance, especially from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if they can continue to play like this, and look, we talked about it several times. The roster from head to toe, for Syracuse is athletic, it's versatile, it's a lot of talent right there. And now we were just kind of waiting for him to put it together, right? JJ obviously coming in from Notre Dame, transferring back home. I think he put a lot of pressure on himself, Joe, and rightfully so. I get it. Like, he's back home, he's playing in front of the family and friends, and people are texting him, excited to have him be back, and so it could be like that. But he was a McDonald's All-American. He was a guy that was all ACC freshman team at Notre Dame, so we know what he's capable of. We were just kind of waiting to see it. You know what I mean? And I did send him a little message on Instagram, just kind of reminding them that, like, dude, you're McDonald's All-American. Like, you're one of the most talented guys in the country. You were one of the highest rated transfers. You know what I mean? Coming into Syracuse. So we know what you're capable of doing. Just go out there and play. And Joe, I want to talk about this for a little bit, because in sports in general, confidence is so key, right? Confidence is key. And when you lose that confidence, regardless of how talented you are, when you lose your confidence, that could be detrimental to your playing. And we saw that
for sure.
We saw that with JJ. Has there ever been a time where where you lost your confidence, or you stopped believing in yourself? And if so, what did you do to get yourself out of that rut?
So I'll just go back to my freshman year. Obviously, coming in, I wasn't a McDonald's All-American. I was, I guess, honorable mention and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I came in 4-star, whatever it was, recruit. Played early on, Florida, Kansas, got some early playing time. So I'm thinking, this is going to be all right for me. I'm going to probably add, 12 to 15.
Yeah.
12 to 15 minutes. For those who don't know, we'll post a pic. For those who don't know what that's about. But Yeah, so then once the Big East conference started, I got a bunch of DNPs. I'm not sure what's going on. I got Coach Murph trying to talk me through things. But at that young age, when you don't know why you're not playing, there's really no explanation being given. You kind of just got to figure it out on your own, keep working hard. And it came to a point where, I just felt like anything that I did wrong, I'd be coming out. So then you're second guessing everything that you do, and that's a tough spot to be in, where you're second guessing every shot, because then you find yourself trying to play perfect basketball, and you're trying to find a way to please coach and still find a way to be yourself. And that's what spot I found myself in, where I thought that, damn, if I take this shot and miss, I'm coming out. But this is a shot I'm comfortable with taking. So now you're playing that, you're kind of battling yourself at the same time. So that was tough for me. And the way I got myself out of it, I had great, veteran leadership, yourself included, Paul, Wes, even though he wasn't playing, my roommate at the time, he had been through college basketball for a while, so he was able to talk me through some things. Coach Hop was major in that, because Hop, that was his shit, motivational.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that helped me a lot. And kind of like what you said, remembering who you were, you know what I'm saying? Remember who you are, not who you were, who you are. And I think that's what it was. And it was a time for me to realize I'm not playing because of my, that I'm not capable or I'm not able to compete. It's just there's a lot of guys in front of me who have more experience, or and there was times that I was thrusted into the starting lineup. I started against Memphis that year. I started against USF. So there was different opportunities. So I had to stay ready. That's one thing that I did do. Although I did gain a freshman 20, you know what I'm saying, or freshman 15. Because I was getting so many DMPs, I always stayed ready. I remained ready. And I think that was the biggest thing, man, just staying in the gym and trusting the work that you put in to get to this point and continue to put that work in.
Yeah, and you know what? Everyone goes through it. I think every athlete has a point where they lose their confidence, or go through a tough time where, like you said, they're battling themselves, even though they know they're capable. It's just some things that they're going through, and it could bog them down a little bit. For me, Joe, it's happened for sure, and I'm an ultra confident dude. Like that's
Yeah.
what I really pride myself on, being confident in myself, and I think that's what kind of separated me from the pack a lot of the time. Is even if I wasn't more talented you or stronger than you, I believed I was. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was better than anyone on that floor. And but for me, like when I got into a rut, I always went back to my routine. You know what I mean? And I keep that like with me, like right now in my daily life. Like whenever I'm going through a tough situation, or something's going bad, I always go back to my routine, and I always find myself getting back on track when I do that. You know what I mean? So I think like for JJ, like, how did you get to the point where you were a McDonald's All-American? You know what I mean? Or how did you get to the point where, you were that guy at Notre Dame where people were counting on you? And the same thing at SU. Go back to your routine, man. Yeah, and
Yep.
it helps, man, when you have people there to support you. Like you said, just having a guy be like, "Yo, Joe, come on, man. We know what you're capable of,
Yeah.
man. It's not
Yeah.
like
Nah, facts.
we've seen it." So having that support system around you, obviously having good people around you, like, because we already know it's people who are there because you play for Syracuse, and there's people who are there because they really care about you, and they want you to do better. And those are the people that you want to have around you. You know what I mean? Not the people
Hell
who are
yeah.
just there because you in the spotlight, and you play for SU. And then being able to get back to your routine. What's your routine? Wake up in the morning, and I like what you said this a while ago. First victory of the day, making your bed. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like that's like, I know it's something little, but that's like the first accomplishment of the day, and then from there on, you build on that. Like great
Yep.
things happen because you do little things throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? And that builds on what
100%.
you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I got to get back into the gym and get my shots up. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been getting my 500 to 1,000 up a day. I need to get back into that routine, get back in the gym, get those shots, get in the weight room, feeling better about my body. And I think that's what JJ was able to do, man. He was just a guy who was in his head, and he got out of it. You know what I'm saying? And I like what you said too. Georgetown being the game that is, he got up for that. And I think going forward, Man, like we said, if he could play
That
like
might have
that,
just
if we could
unlocked
have
something. Yeah.
if we could have Judah and JJ play like that, because Chris Bell has been playing well, but he didn't play good. You know, he didn't play like what we know he could play against Georgetown, and neither did Justin Taylor. But shout out to Quadir Copeland, and shout out to my guy Hema. Look, man,
Oh,
Hema
yeah.
had that was his first Monir Hema, his first points of the game, bro. And I tell you what, or excuse me, the season. And he made a huge difference. I don't care if he had like, I think 9 minutes, 4 points, 3 rebounds. It wasn't even about the stats. It was
It's the
about
impact.
his presence on the floor. Like, he was moving, he's talking, he's communicating. He's like a little Bai Musakeda. And we know how. And
Shout out
you
to
play with
Vi.
Bai.
Yep.
You know how much of
Yep.
an impact Bai had on the team, not even just on the stat line, but just him being in the game and talking and getting guys going, and
100%.
being that positive presence. So if
100%.
McLeod's not doing his thing, Hema, you come in and save the day and be that presence. Like, you made a huge difference, man, a big time difference. And then let's talk about Quadir Copeland for a little bit before we got Griff coming on. I think he's a Swiss Army knife. He's a guy who could bring the ball up. He could guard the point guard, 6'7". You saw him up top, guarding the ball and being disruptive. I mean, if he brings that energy consistently like that, I mean, he's a guy who's going to see more minutes. He's going to see more time, and you see that the impact that he has. But we got Joe. We got Coach Griff coming on right now. We're going to welcome him on the show, and we're going to chop it up about Georgetown a little bit.
Quadir
My
only
guy,
had one turnover too, so that was big time. Big
What's up?
AG.
Griff. AG, what's going on, man? Appreciate you hopping on.
No, anytime, fellas. Anytime. You know that.
Oh, technical.
we
Okay,
can't-
we can't hear. We got to get the volume
You get-
going.
All right, let me.
Oh, there you go. We got you.
good.
We got you. There you go.
You good? You good?
Yeah, you looking
Yeah,
good. You looking
yeah.
good, man. You look like you got a fresh shave or something going on, man.
Nah,
you look good, man.
you know what? It's the computer can tell. You know, it can keep my hair. I got the little bald spot over here. It comes with
Nah,
getting old, man. It comes with
You
getting
look good,
old.
man. Hey,
Thanks, I
G,
appreciate it.
we appreciate you coming on. We were just kind of talking about the Georgetown game, and how we thought it was really the best game overall, offensively and defensively, for you guys. And then obviously JJ stepping up, Hema stepping up, Copeland stepping up, and Judah, playing how he's been playing. But what do you think? The real difference was for you in that Georgetown game, and how can you guys, keep that going forward the rest of the year?
You know, it's what we envisioned for this team this year. Obviously, we knew we had, JJ and Judah coming into this year, being the dynamic guards that they are, and obviously having shooters in Justin and Kris. We kind of wanted to figure out and see what we had coming off the bench, and I think if we can consistently get what we got in that Georgetown game, coming off the bench, we'll be a reckon with. Because a lot of teams can't go as deep as we are, or that we can, and just to look back at it, I think that's what we envision this team as. Is like sometimes, Kris only scored 5 points. He's our second leading scorer on our team, but it wasn't a drop off when Quadir came in the game. It actually got turned up. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then even Kyle Cuff coming in and playing the 5 minutes or 7 minutes, that increases in certain games, and he just got to stay ready. But again, we went almost 10 deep in that game, and that's a good sign for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I like is what about the just the magnitude of the game, right? Going into this game, how much attention stock do you put into the Georgetown Syracuse rivalry during the week leading up to the game? You think the guys woke up a little bit more because of that?
Yeah, definitely. You can't say that it didn't. Just think about you guys' first Georgetown game. You know what I mean? For a lot of these guys, it's their first time, and they've been in college for a year. You know what I mean? So and we were fortunate to having a game like this in this magnitude. So for them, we just tried to educate them on the history. and make sure that they understand that there's a lot of guys before them who paved the way for this actually to, for them to be a part of this now. And we showed a little video, which was a pretty cool video that's on, you can look it up on YouTube or whatever. And it just goes back and tells you the history. And yeah, it was great to see some guys. And some guys had some added incentives, like, Judah obviously being from the DC area and wanting to be recruited by, Georgetown, which I think they kind of came in late, which he felt a little disrespected in his deal. And, and you got Benny Williams, guys like that. And like, think about Copeland lives 3 hours from DC. Philadelphia guy, like, you know what I mean? Like, Malik Brown and Justin, they Virginia guys. So it was DMV. We had a lot more going on than just the rivalry, but the rivalry always adds 10 layers to the game.
100%.
Bro, I want you to talk about a guy who had his first points of the season against Georgetown. He hasn't been playing. He only played 9 minutes, but me and Joe were talking about it. His impact went beyond that, the stat line. And that's my guy Hema. McLeod wasn't playing great. Hema comes in and then really changes the whole game just with his presence, his activity. He was getting all over. Talk about Hema a little bit and what can he bring and really add to this team.
The unfortunate thing about Hema is that he goes up and down because of medical reasons and little nagging injuries. But I think all the guys pull for him because he's an everyday guy. Like, regardless of how hurt he is, he's out there. He might not be able to give you his all, but he's out there and he's always positive with his teammates. And he just had to stay ready. And that's the one thing that Coach Reg kept telling them, just stay ready. And all these guys, again, that's what we envision. We envision that we can go deep in our bench and that we can get positivity. We can get, no let off. And him coming in the game, tipping it out, we scoring off a tip out. Him coming in, following up, the tip. Even the second half with the block shot. He just, again, like you guys said, just his activity was huge. And if you want to be a good team, you got to have guys like that step up, the whole year. And we were all happy for him because, again, he was one of those guys that, that he just he wants to play and he wants to have an impact regardless of what. He just don't want to sit there. And he showed, Coach, that he can get back in the game a little bit.
I got a question about JJ Starlin. We obviously, as former players, you guys as a staff, we know he had been, I guess, struggling a bit to start the season, not shooting the ball extremely well and things like that. But him having the game that he had against Georgetown, how much does that, obviously it does a lot for his confidence, but how does he sustain that? How do you guys make sure that he's able to sustain that level of play going forward, playing a tough Oregon in a couple of days and just try to get him to stay on that track?
I mean, you guys were great scorers in your day, right? And when you see that ball going the hole like it, you can still, okay, sorry. I didn't mean to age you or anything. Yeah, I know you can still get a bucket. I know you can go out here in the game right now, a college game, and get 10 points. I know that for sure. I'll bet that. And that's hard to do.
Give me the money line, too. Give me the money line, Griff. Give me the money line, yo.
I got you. So I'm not supposed to be talking about betting. You know what I mean?
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm joking. But, and you guys are great scorers. You guys are, wow. You guys are great scorers. So, again, when you see the ball going the hole the way it went in for him against a really good Georgetown team, it just makes life easier for you. And it calms you down, lets you know that, yo, man, I'm working.
Get that motherfucking monkey off your back.
No doubt. That's exactly what it was. And now, hopefully it'll give him a chance to relax, go out there, be a little bit more confident than he was that day. And then hopefully the chips will start falling in and he can get into a consistent groove. But it was happy to see because you know what? it was happy to see because the kid has been working his butt off in terms of trying to get that, get his shot right, and and it's always good to see your hard work pay off, it just happened that game, so it was good for him.
And besides that, he's just a great kid. I mean, obviously knowing him from being from Baldwinsville, just a good kid, come from a good family, and you know how hard it could come, or how hard it could be coming back home and playing in front of your family and friends. I think even when you don't have that pressure, you put it on yourself just because you want to come. Yeah, you want to come back and perform well in front of your family. You getting the text messages, hey, we'll be at the game and all that shit. So that it more than anything, it was mental. Like, dude, you're a McDonald's All-American. You're all ACC, freshman team at Notre Dame. We know what you're capable of doing. Like, talk about that real quick, Griff, because before you got on, me and Chris Joe were talking about it. I think every player goes through it to where they kind of mind fuck themselves mentally. I mean, I'm sure you went through it as a player too. So like, what do you do? How do you talk to them? And, about that to get through it, and tell me about a time like when you went through it, and how did you deal with it?
So what I tell JJ, I always remind him. I say it to him. I say, yo, man, you're a bad MF. Just be yourself.
Yeah, you can cuss on here. You can cuss on here.
Yeah, I can cuss on here. I just tell him you're a bad motherfucker. Just keep going.
That's it. Come on, you from Brooklyn, man.
Like,
you from fucking Brooklyn, you got, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't. I don't think you sugarcoat it. I don't think you just got to put it to him the way he needs to hear it. But. Yeah, and he's super talented, again. And like you said, playing in front of your family and friends consistently the way he's doing it, he just got to calm down. But you guys got to also, too, you got to understand, like, the dynamic of, him playing with Judah, him playing against Judah one year, now playing with Judah in the same backcourt with Quadir, with those. So fitting in had his parts too. Yeah. So, and kind of figuring out his ways to impact in our team. So I think he's starting to get a handle on that, and it took him some time, but again, I'm just happy that he's starting to figure it out because it's just going to help our team. And for me, I'm always a guy that's going to preach hard work. That's the only way I knew how to do it. You got to be in the lab, you got to be in the gym, and that's the only way you can get out of stuff, get out of your own head. It's about working hard. Yeah. That's it. You know what I mean? So that's what I was happy to see JJ do. He didn't put his head down. He could have put his head between his legs and just mope and pout. But he got in the lab with Coach Mack, and they did for 3 or 4 days before practice. They were on the court shooting an hour before. One of G-Mac's staples, and it was just him and Coach Mack just working on form shooting and just continually to get the hitch out of his shot. But it looks good, man. We're really happy for him because, again, it just the work that he put in paid off in a big time way for us.
Hey, I'm sure everybody here has seen Above the Rim. Sometimes you got to go out there, go to the Mello Center, lights off, and play against Nutso. You know what I'm saying? You got to be you and Nutso. You got to do your thing and just play. I'm telling you, sometimes that's no coach, no nothing, just you on the ball. And that's sometimes you get yourself out of a rut, for real.
With no fucking Chris, ball, though? With no fucking ball, Joe?
No, we're using the ball. We're going to use the ball. You know what I'm saying? He was on some other
smacking
shit.
The backboard and shit.
Yeah, listen, I do that with my golf game. I talk to Nutso all the time. No club, no ball, no nothing. I'm in the elevator. I'm swinging my arms like I'm on the PGA tour. Like, I'm talking to Nutso now. Right. You gotta bring the arm down here because you want to try to throw the ball. Like, hey, listen, I talk to Nutso all the time, all day long.
Yeah.
Hey Griff, and I just want to stay on JJ for a second because we talked about it, me and Joe before. Like, it's almost like too. I think JJ came in and had almost a different role because he's bringing the ball up a lot more, having to make like more decisions and put people in their spots. And I don't, just to be honest, I don't think he's really done that before. As far, like even in high school, he was just the guy who was looking to score the ball. And even at Notre Dame, he was on the wing. They looked to kick or get him and slash and attack the angles. How much do you think that was a factor of it too, like just him getting comfortable, bringing up the ball, making decisions, and then being able to get people in their spots?
Yeah, definitely. That played a huge part, you know. And the one thing, you know, that JJ, he had to grow up really quick, and sometimes he got penalized for his mistakes at Notre Dame is because he played with a senior-driven team. I mean, all his guys that he played with was graduate, you know, students that's been in college for 5 years. So, and you know, in his case, you know, when you can get intimidated by that. I don't care if you're a McDonald All-American or not. These guys have been through the wars in college, and you know, and some of your mistakes, and sometimes you don't want to make a mistake because you don't want to look like the odd man out because you playing with these guys that really don't make no mistakes. So it was one of those things that he had to grow, you know, go through, excuse me, and for him to come here and the cool, you know, shout out to Judah too, because, you know, Judah understands that he can't do it by himself neither. And that's why I think they're starting to learn and work together. And that's why you see JJ bring the ball up a lot more. And now Judah's in that role where he can come off and be aggressive, looking to score, and not just have to be a facilitator and a scorer at the same time. So and that's one of the things that they are making that adjustment themselves, because you see it sometimes they'll outlet the ball to Judah and JJ be back there and he'll just throw the ball to JJ and then, you know, JJ will facilitate the offense, right? You know, that's something that is not coming from the staff. It's starting to become a chemistry thing between the two, you know, and that's a big time luxury for Coach Autry to have, because now, you know, you're getting a steady dose of two guys that's really good with the ball. And that's hard. I mean, you can't really stop two guys with them. You can stop one guy.
100%.
It's hard to stop two guys that's really good with the basketball. And then when you bring in the joker, who I call Quadir, off the bench, give you that third guy, you know what I mean? You know, off the bench that can handle plays for other people and stuff like that. And all three of those guys on the court at the same time, that's where you really get in a pickle, you know what I mean? So we again, like I think, you know, since we've been back from Hawaii, we learned a lot from ourselves in Hawaii, and we were confident coming out of Hawaii, even though we were 1-2, because, you know, for, you know, what is it, for 60 minutes in two games, you know, combined the two games, 60 minutes, we played with two top 10 teams. You know what I mean? We were right there, a 1-2 possession game. You know, we just lost it at the end. So, and Coach, you know, he brought us together, and you know, we had a couple of two-day practices, which we kind of fine-tuned some stuff. Now you're starting to see that stuff pay off.
Hey, let's stay on Quadir for a second, because what I saw from him defensively, I think for him, like, he's already an energy guy. Like, you see it on the bench. I love it because he always has that positive energy. You see him slapping fives and getting everybody going. But I think for me, when I watch him, he gets himself going on the defensive end. Like in that Georgetown game, and he was a guy guarding the ball 6'7" on the point guard. I mean, shit, that's tough right there for a point guard bringing up the ball against. And so I think defensively, bro, I seen, you know, I know what you guys are capable of, but I think you were just kind of waiting to put it all together. But that Georgetown game, I think you guys really put it together. And I think two guys that really stuck out to me was Quadir, obviously, on the ball, and then Malik Brown. Like Malik Brown is a guy who can guard multiple positions. And you know, I think a lot of times at the 5, he was guarding bigger guys, so, you know, it's tough for him. Now Georgetown, it was kind of like the same height, right? Cook was this, you know, the same type of guy as him. But those two guys, like those guys who could really could get you guys going defensively. Kind of talk about, like, you know, where you think you guys are at defensively, and then also where you guys can go defensively, because I think you guys can be a fucking really, really good defensive team.
Yeah, and you're starting to see it. You know, like our numbers in terms of our defensive numbers, when it's matched up across the country, are starting to go down, meaning getting a lot better. But those two guys are keys to that because they come in, they give you a different energy. They give you quickness, they give you athleticism, but they also give you a level of toughness that most teams when they go to the bench they go the other way, and we get ramped up when those two guys come in the game. And to start with, with Quadir, he's been asked to play 4 positions this year. That dude played from in practice to in some games early on. He's played the point, he's played the 2, he played the 3, he's played the 4. The only position he ain't played is the 5, and we might find a spot for him to play the 5. But his versatility is huge for us because it gives the coaching staff a lot of options, and we can sub them in for multiple guys, and that's a good thing to have. And we just gotta, he just gotta, slow down a little bit when, going to the basket and making layups. But if he can, continue to shoot a high percentage of, at the basket and giving us that element, it could be a special group, especially when those guys come in. And then, talking about Malik, probably some of the fastest hands in the country. If you notice when you could tell he was on the scouting report with his fast hands because when the guys were around them, they turned their backs and they put the ball way close to their chest and their body.
Yeah,
so that
still stole it. Still stole that shit too.
And he still got it, and he still got his hands on the ball. So it was crazy to see that. But we were able to take Georgetown's point guard out of the game, some of it because we did some trapping stuff, and you can't do that with just anybody. He was really detail oriented, and he did a really good job of being aggressive, and he started to, he's on the offensive end too. He made a nice move, nice little spin move in the lane. So he's starting to come and put back dunk. It's starting to come offensively. If he can be a little bit more aggressive offensively, watch out.
Now, Griff, real quick, I want to kind of stick right there because this is what I was kind of wondering too. Is a lot of it because we know, I think Malik, he showed a lot of flashes as a freshman that he can be effective on the offensive end. Is a lot of it sometimes he's just not getting opportunities offensively because he might be at that 5 spot where typically he might get more opportunities being at the 4. I think when if Hema or even like McLeod, if they could be consistent at that 5 spot, and you got Brown at that 4 position, do you see him getting more opportunities offensively playing the 4?
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes he's such a passive guy. He's trying to look out for other guys, and you can't fault him for that. But you still want him to be aggressive,
Right.
And I think, and sometimes in those short roll situations, when he catch the ball in those short roll situations, he needs to be, aggressive. Aggressive
right,
meaning.
yeah.
I'm gonna look to score here, or I'm gonna look to pass. Certain teams are gonna start making him say, "Okay, we're not gonna give you this pass. We want to see what you're gonna do, at the rim." And he has to take full advantage of that stuff. But I think he's coming along steady. We just want him to be a little bit more aggressive offensively, and if we can get him a little bit more aggressive offensively, that adds to our attack because the guy that's getting our 2-point baskets and getting us to the free throw line is obviously Judah. And that's because and his free throw rate is crazy through the roof right now.
Unreal, dude. I ain't never seen that shit for real, bro.
Listen, fellas, I was saying that I was sitting on the bench last year, and I was talking to Adrian. And I was like, yo, Rad, man. I said, man, this dude go to the line. This dude know how to get fouled. Like seriously. Like and great
That's
scorers. Like think about it. Like that's a skill. Great and great scorers like yourselves. Like you guys know how to get fouled. And part of your attack was going to the free throw line, shooting 6 or 7 or 8 free throws. Again, that's a lot.
Yeah. But my man shooting fucking 15, yo. He shooting. I don't know what the stat line is, but he has, I don't know, maybe like four games with 10 plus free throws. And then like, even when he gets in a situation where he gets stopped, like he's so crafty and he got such good footwork. Like it was a point in the game. I think it was the one guy who was Bromberg or some shit was guarding.
Right.
He stopped him. He played good D, but he still was able to get out of the situation up and under and get fouled. And you could see my man. He was like, he was frustrated with that shit, yo, because he played good D.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. It bugs us out sometimes. Like, especially me, and let me speak for myself. I be sitting there like, yo, this is wild. Like, you know, it's just like you said, it's a skill, and good players know how to do it. You know, like, so it's crazy, man. It's so crazy. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, no, we know you probably got to get up out of here, but just for me, this team has all the bases covered. We got great point guard. We got some effective bigs who can protect the rim. We got a good bench presence. It really is reminding me of teams of the past where, like you said, there was no drop-offs when the subs come in. Even if we're not we could go deeper into the bench than most teams in the country. That's how. Obviously, that's the recipe for success right there. You know what I mean? Right now, the record shows we're doing a great job. Red, everybody, you guys are doing a phenomenal job early in the season, being 7-3. But we got to continue just working through that dynamic, working JJ into things, because you said something interesting where him coming to this team is not going to click right away. You know, sometimes that take could happen faster, or it can happen a little later in the season, but I think it's happening at the right time right now where we're just about to really start hitting conference play and things like that. And I think we have everything that we need to be a great team and make a deep run, you know, come March. You know, I don't like to count my chicken before they hatch. You know, that's how I usually am, but I like the dynamic of this team and where it's headed. So, you know, shouts out to you guys and the work that you've put in with these guys from last year and the ones who are coming in this year and doing a great job. I love what I'm seeing.
Hey, thanks. Hey, I appreciate it. Go E. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I know. Shit, I'm not letting you go yet, motherfucker. Hold on now. Hold on. No,
I'm not. No. I was just, you know.
No, I'm just fucking with you. No, real quick, and just to kind of bounce off of what Joe said, I mean, the versatility, the athleticism, the depth. I mean, it's going to take time to put it together. It's not like you guys got vets on the team right now. Like, these guys are freshmen and sophomore, and even if the guys who are older, they still haven't had the experience of playing like that. You know what I mean? So it's gonna take some time. But I mean, the roster from top to bottom, I'm putting it up against anybody in the country, talent wise, for real. Like, and I know, you know, talent is one thing, and then, you know, the performance on the court is another, but, you know, you could see it slowly starting to get together. And if Judah and JJ can play like that, bro, Chris Bell's going to do his thing. Yeah, it's going to be, I'm telling you, if you got, basketball is about how well your guards are playing now, just to be real. Like, if you got great guard play, come on, dog. Like, that's just how the game is, bro. And then surround them with some shooters and some guys who gonna you know, protect the rim. Like, what is your, I guess, you know, overall vision for this team going forward? Like, what do you think you guys are capable of? I know you want to do NCAA tournament, but can you do that? And then can you make a run in there?
Right. You know, it's crazy. Like when we doing scouting and we talk about certain things, you know, sometimes Adrian be like, yo, you're not worried about this? I'm like, you know, that's, you know, him as the head coach, he has to worry about a lot more than what I have to worry about. You know, but we still worry a lot. And I look at him and I say, listen, I said, I know when we walk into every game this year, I don't care who we're playing, we have one dude on our team that's just as good or better than anybody else on that other team. Right, so he's gonna give us a chance of winning. Like, you know, and he comes and he plays to win, and he can go out there and get you 30. Right? I said, now when you factor in our guys starting to get better and starting to gel together, now you start to say, well, shit, we got one of the best backcourts in the country. You know, and now I'm like, that's what win your games. You know, when you got no drop off coming off the bench, you got a great and a really, really good backcourt, like you working with something. You know what I mean? It's just about now putting the other pieces that you talked about, the bench play, solidifying the center position with one of those guys really stepping up and getting, and where now you can use Malik a little bit now. And then you get a guy like, we failed to talk about, like a guy like Benny Williams going. Like, you know what I mean? Who's super talented, it's just, we got so much more room to grow. And I think that's the scary part about this thing, because now you can grow, you can go south, or you can go north. And I think the way we're going north right now, which as January start to come around, that's where you want to start to peak, and because you start league play and getting into the thick of the league season. So I think the sky's the limit. I'm like Chris Joe. I don't want to count my chickens before, you know what I mean? But whatever the fuck the saying is, I don't know, you know what I mean?
Joe, shit. We make shit up all the time, man. Shit, we make shit up all. It don't fucking matter, man. You say what the fuck you want to say,
before they hatch, dog. Don't count them before they hatch.
I don't count them before they hatch. But again, it's the sky's the limit. I think I'm very optimistic because that's who I am by nature. And I just think that when I watch the team every day in practice, you see it. At some point in practice, you be like, damn, we all right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, And then when you look at, the Georgetown game, I would say it's one game this year where we just kind of lost it. And that was just because you against Virginia, you just lost it. Like, and part of that too.
It's a tough fucking team to play against, yo.
Oh, 100%, dude. It's crazy because you know what? It doesn't and that's how you want to get. That's where you want to get to your program. That's where you want your program to get to, because it doesn't matter. Every year they have different guys. They plug different guys in, and they still as tough, and they play hard, and they play to win, and they play together. And that's where you want to get your program to. Now, it's different styles, but in terms of the main factors that that creates a good team, they have that installed in their program right now, and it's some like from afar, it's a beautiful thing to see, especially coming from girls basketball.
Yo, AG, before we get you up out of here, man, just give us a little scout report on Oregon. I know you guys are leaving, I think Friday to get out there. It's a neutral site in Sioux Falls. So talk to us about Oregon a little bit, what to expect, and what you guys need to do to get a victory.
We haven't digged into Oregon yet. We have a meeting today. Obviously, I got a meeting after, we get off the phone with you, and we're gonna go over the scout report. Coach Matt got the scout report, so we're going over them. I just think we had a couple of days. So what we did was we kind of sharpened up our offense. Because if you even watch the Georgetown game, there was some parts of the game where it was a lull on offense. Like, it was no more ball movement. We just got caught standing still. And, if you want to be a good team, you can't go through those lulls as long as we did in that game. But we still was victorious. But, we got to kind of get past that part. And that's the one thing that we've been working on these first 2 days. And I think we're going to dig into Oregon Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then play obviously the game on Sunday, but it's a great opportunity for our basketball team. It's a top 40, top 50 win, which is to some people could be a quad 1, quad 2 win. I don't get into that stuff. I'm like old school, like all that math shit. I don't even try.
I don't know nothing about that shit.
I'm like, you gotta
win the fucking game.
Team. Yeah, you got a good team ahead of you. I mean, they got talent on their team, and you got a great coach. And you know what? That's what you come to Syracuse for. To come and play these games, and we got a good opportunity on Sunday afternoon, and looking forward to it.
No doubt. AG, man, we appreciate you coming on, blessing us, man, on the Devo and Chris Joe show. We gonna have you on again. Hopefully you want to come back on. We talk shit, do all that. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. Next time I'm gonna be at the crib. You know what I mean? Have me a nice glass of wine in front of me, And then it's
yeah.
the sparks are really fire after that.
Hey, whatever you need to do, man. Whatever you need to do. But again, we appreciate you coming on, AG. Good luck
Yes, sir.
against Oregon Sunday, and we hoping for a victory.
Yeah, shout out to the
I'm gonna give
staff.
you
Tell
guys.
my guys I said what's up.
I definitely. Hey, but also too, I think I'm gonna start my own show. So obviously, it's gonna be love, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna try to do a different platform. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm into a lot of other stuff too, but I like for guys like you guys to just come on the show, pause, and just tell me everything. You know what I'm saying? Just come tell me
let's do
everything.
it.
And I'm gonna try to have somebody that's a host that's not a basketball person, that's a funny person, and that's just gonna allow me to experiment with a lot of stuff and be very broad with some of the stuff. But I definitely am. Coach Red might be like, dude, where you gonna find time? I'm gonna find time because it's gonna be it's like a passion of mine, and I look forward to it. So I'm gonna have both of you guys on as my guest, and we're gonna do something fun.
That's easy.
All right?
Man,
that's easy.
Hey, look, it might be a wine and dine, and look, I don't know what you're into. I'm not saying you're into it. We're sponsored by Flintstone Cannabis Company, so shout out my guy Mike Flint. Hey, yeah. It's all good. Wine and dine, baby.
Wine and dine. Wine and dine. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you.
Love, AG. Appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, yeah, shout out to AG coming in, breaking it down. Hey, Joe, he stayed a little bit longer than we anticipated, but shit, it's all good.
But you know how that go. When the topics get flowing, they don't want to get to going. But he had to go do what he had to do. He had to go.
Hey, dog.
Do the scout with G-Mac. So shout out to G-Mac with the Oregon Scout, Red, the whole staff. We definitely are. Hey, the chat. Shout out to the chat. I don't know what's going on in it, but if you ever having a long day, boss on your nerves, wife, husband, whatever it may be, because there's a lot of stresses in this world. You know where to go. Where they gotta go, man? Where they gotta go if they feel a little edgy?
You feel a little edgy. You want to get the edge off. You want to maybe smooth it out a little bit. You know what I mean? And hey, look, and we don't know what you're into, but I'm saying if you're into it, you know where to go. You're right down the street from Galaxy Communications. It's a spot called Flintstone Cannabis Company. Go and get you some gummies, go and get you some pre-rolls, or matter of fact, just get you some regular flour and go ahead and roll up a little bit. You got to do what you got to do. I'm not saying overindulge. You might just take one or two hits. I don't know what you do, but whatever you got to do to just smooth that out and enjoy your day, do that. And shout out to my guy, Mike Flynn, man, again, for supporting the show and helping us out. So guys, run down there. Gummies. Go ahead.
Them gummies act differently sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like you might eat a cookie, a gummy, and you might say, "This shit ain't working." 45 minutes later, you stuck. Oh shit! I don't know what's going on. I'm in a motherfucker. I'm in the sunken place. I'm just falling into the couch or the bed. Like, nah, them gummies act crazy, man. So just beware if you go the gummy route. Beware.
Beware. Look, we're not saying you got to do it. We're just saying if you're into it, that's the best spot to go. Flintstone Cannabis Company. And look, if you haven't been in there, I mean, it's a state-of-the-art facility, man. I mean, they got 3 levels. I mean, the setup is incredible. You know what I mean? He doing a great job. So, again, shout out to Mike Flynn. And yes, if you're taking a gummy or a cookie, man, sit the fuck down. Please sit the fuck down and put a movie on. You know what I'm saying? And look, I don't give a fuck what the movie is because it just got 10 times better with that fucking cookie. And yo,
I'll tell you what.
That's all I'm gonna say, yo.
Wait till it kick in. Because you don't want to be in a situation where you eat a cookie, you say, "Oh, this shit ain't working." Then you eat another one. Now you in a world of trouble. You in a world of trouble when that shit start. Now you slow motion. You looking at your hands like this. You don't know what's going on. You gotta just take one, let it set in, enjoy your movie, Netflix, and you be straight.
Just be responsible. That's all we saying. That's all we saying. But
That's
Joe,
it.
man, I thought that was some great insight from AG. Just kind of letting our viewers who tuned in know a lot more about the players and seeing his vision from a coaching perspective on what he thinks this team could do going forward. And again, man, I think if JJ and Judah are able to play like that going forward, yeah, we need all the other guys to be able to come in and make an impact. But it's a guards game, bro. You know that shit. We
Yeah.
know, like, if you got dynamic guards, which we do have dynamic guards with JJ and Judah, it's a whole nother ball game, man. Like, we're going to be able to compete with the best of them. I do think that, shout out baby girl in the background. She talking shit just like we talking shit. That's
Yeah,
all
nah,
good. You know what I
100%.
mean?
Yeah.
It's all love. But if those two guys can be consistent like that in their attack mode, be aggressive, not only are they gonna be great, but all those other guys around are gonna come and be great too. That gives those guys confidence. Talk about that, Joe. When you have great guards on your team, because you played with fucking great guards. I mean, some of the
No
guards.
question.
I mean, who we talk about? Dion Waiters, Scoop Jardine, Brandon
Johnny Flynn to
Trish,
come in. Johnny,
Johnny.
Brandon, Scoop, Dion, you know what I'm saying? Another guard, Andy, you know what I'm saying? So just,
Oh,
some play with some great guards, and obviously it facilitates things to another level. When you got a guard who could break the defense down and also make plays, see a play ahead, I think one of the craftiest guards, I ever played with or seen live was Scoop Jardine, right? Scoop had an ability he wasn't the most athletic. He was shifty. You know what I'm saying? He was deceptively quick. You know what I mean? And he one thing he knew how to do well was play them angles. And Scoop did a great job of making the defense collapse, kickouts. He had a great passing game where he would, I benefited from a lot of the receiving end of a lot of alley oops from Scoop. Shout out Matt Gavendo. He put out a little, I don't know what that was, little YouTube mix yesterday where you see how Scoop was breaking press by itself, spinning out of presses, making passes, making plays. You see Wes Johnson catching oops. Made the game just way, way easier. You got a guard like Dion Waiters coming off the bench. Could be starting anywhere in the country, breaking the defense down. Again, another tough bully ball type of guard that could just get into the paint and make plays for himself and make plays for others, man. But Scoop, again, was just great at what he did. You had Brandon Trish who facilitated. He could shoot. He was strong, get to the basket. So playing, my job was easy. You know what I'm saying? As much as I was a focal point, those guards made my job 10 times easier because I didn't have to work as hard for things that I got. Because they were demanding so much attention with the defense collapsing, I was getting the recipient of a lot of open shots, a lot of open corner threes, a lot of back cut alley-oops because they demand so much attention when they have the ball in their hand that you as a defender get caught ball watching because you want to make sure you're in space for the next help when he cracks the first line of defense, which they usually did. So I benefited from a lot of back cuts, a lot of alley-oops, corner threes because of those guys and their abilities.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I was lucky enough to play with. I mean, obviously you mentioned Johnny Flynn.
You motherfucker, but I'm saying all this shit. I'm staring right at you.
God, my guy.
I must have went to Flintstone. This morning because I don't know what's going on, man. You're right there.
All the way to Canada.
Different level. Delivery service. Listen,
coming soon.
But you too, bro. Obviously you and Johnny, I was able to see what Johnny was able to do for you, but yourself included. When you have a guard that demands so much attention, it makes it easy for the bigs because you know that them bigs are coming up. So they're the recipients of just little dump offs and, getting spoon fed some baskets. AO, did a good job of getting those, being ready in the dunker spot. No dribble needed. Step in and one. You guys were great guards. And, I think we're back to that finally where we have the dynamic duo in JJ and Judah who are able to do exactly what you guys have done. And, in the history of time, if you look back at the history, the guard play was always what was, great for us. They used to, apparently they call Syracuse, like guard you or some shit like that, where we used to have all the guards come in and make everybody's job easier. So definitely.
Shit, we could go through we could take the whole fucking show and go through all the guards that came through Cuse and how they dominated. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you.
I mean, for me, bro. I mean, I was lucky. I came in my freshman year and I played with fucking GMAC. I mean, you know, I just think so. Like again, for me, like I didn't need confidence, right? I didn't need anybody to tell me shit. Motherfucker, I believed in myself. Like I had that in me already. Yeah, you already know. But like when you have a guy like GMAC on your side or like Johnny Flynn on your side, man, I'll tell you what, that do something for you. Like now, because it's like when you walk into a place and you got your partner on your side and you both, man, feeling good. You dripped out. You both, motherfucker might have a chain on. He got a chain on too. Man, you getting all the attention. Hey, you feel fucking good. You feel a little bit better about yourself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like when your man on your side and you know that y'all doing it together. So like when you in the backcourt and you know you going into ACC play, you going against North Carolina. I'm gonna go back to the Big East when I was playing. I know in particular my freshman year, my first Big East game that I ever played in was at Notre Dame, and they had Chris Quinn, Colin Fall, Terrence Francis. Like they had a good squad. And when you go to Notre Dame, they had a fucking the crowd was crazy. Like they always had a great crowd. And I was a freshman, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going in there with a senior, led team, GMAC, you know what I'm saying? Bro, I'm telling you what, this motherfucker had said one thing to me, man. That's all you had to say. Colin Quinn, Chris, I'm at your fucking neck. I'm at your neck. Like I'm feeling like I'm Superman, not only because I feel that way, but my teammate feel that way about me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and this ain't just no regular teammate. It's one of the best players in the country. When one of the best players in the country giving you that confidence and feeding you like that, putting that battery in your back, come on, dog. I'm gonna tell you that we won the game. GMAC had 25, I had 22 as a freshman. And then after the game, you know what I'm doing. I'm talking shit to the crowd. I'm all in the crowd talking shit. Yeah, motherfucker, all that. So just like when you have that teammate and that guy in the back with you, knowing that, man, he's riding with you. He's there for you. And Kris, you know, like when you see guys who are like get riled up and ready to play, they talking a little shit. Man, that should do something to you. Like that should bring you a whole different type of energy. So like just think if you got guys like, Judah, JJ, they do it, and then they go to Chris Bell, then they go to a guy like a Justin Taylor or something. Now you got everybody feeling that way. That's when you got some real shit.
Hell yeah.
That's when you got some real shit going on, man. I know we got a couple minutes left, but I think, if they can have that mindset going forward, just believing in themselves, having confidence in each other, that shit gonna go to everyone else, man. And like we said, the roster is so talented. And my vision for this team going forward, bro, I mean, I think like the sky's the limit, man. We have to work on some shit. We have to execute offensively, defensively. We have to, know our rotations, talk, communicate, and be active. But I mean, tell me what you think, Joe. What's the end goal for this team? Obviously, it's getting to the tournament, but what do you see these guys doing? Going forward at the end of the season, where do they end up?
The biggest thing is making sure that we're all aligned and on the same page, and I think we're heading in that direction. Like we're young team, like you mentioned, some freshmen, some sophomores, couple juniors, seniors, but like you said, haven't played, too many. Some guys didn't play meaningful minutes in their past situations. So now, still a fairly young team, but what I think they need to do is we got to make sure everybody's on the same page. And as cliche as this sounds, everybody has to be a star in their role. Everybody has to be, again, I said it last week, we got to accept roles that are given. And sometimes roles don't need to be established by a coach to say, you're the guy that's going to score. You're the guy that's going to be rebounding. Nah, that comes from, what it is. Who should be scoring as a team. Who should be doing what. You know what I mean? So yeah. I believe that if they're all aligned and all on the same page, we'll be in great. We'll be on the right track. And going forward, I think, like you said, the sky is the limit. I think we have the makeup to to make a run in the ACC, you know, be right there on the top half of the ACC, and then make a deeper run, make a good deep run, catch our stride, really catch our stride right there in March.
No doubt. Hey, shout out to all the comments and everybody in the chat. You know, we appreciate the love, and we're going to keep bringing you some real shit. You know what I mean? And hopefully you guys learn, laugh, cry. Hey, if you do those three things in a day, I think Jimmy V said it, that's a fucking full day, man. But our time is up. We even went past 1 minute. So shout out to everyone for tuning in. And we will see y'all next Wednesday, 10 to 11, QSportsTalk.com. We out of here. My guy.
Love.